Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Jo, I'm the millennial knitter. I like to talk about yarn and some of the works in progress I've got and my progress as a pretty beginner knitter. Beginner, hopefully getting towards intermediate. Today I looked over at my yarn corner and realised it was total chaos and my partner and I are moving flat soon, so I figured I'd better do something about getting on top of my yarn stash. I've also had a couple of hauls from a trip I was on to Rotterdam recently and I need to find somewhere to stick all of that. So come and join me as I go through my hauls, go through my yarn stash and try and make some organisation out of this chaos. So the first thing I did was, this might be the opposite of ASMR, but I got hold of some of these big clear plastic bag things that I thought might be a really good home for my yarn, so that's what I'm going to try and organise everything into. It seems like the kind of thing that will hopefully keep the moths, the dreaded moths, at bay, and I'm hoping that I've got enough space in here. If I have more yarn than this, then I definitely have a problem, so I'm hoping that most of it will fit inside this guy. And I'm thinking that because it's clear, I'll be able to keep track of everything that I've got. That's the problem that I've had recently. It's because I've got things in bags and all over the place. I'm kind of not really sure everything that I've got, and I think that's causing me to overbuy. So I'm hoping if I can see it, that might help slow me down a little bit. Okay, so I thought I'd start with the yarn that's probably been sitting in my stash for the longest. I've got a couple of things in here. Mostly this is some leftovers from some We Are Knitters jumpers. I don't really know. I was going to try and talk as I go through my stash about project plans for some of this, what I was thinking I might do with it, whether I should just get rid of it or keep it. So this guy is some really beautiful yarn from We Are Knitters that was a gift from my boyfriend. It's leftovers from a jumper. What I am thinking I might do, not certain if I've got enough, but I have a goddaughter and niece who is 4-ish, and I'm wondering if I can make her a matching jumper for her Christmas. She's obsessed with unicorns, or at least she was the last time I saw her. So I'm wondering if this could turn into a unicorn jumper to match my jumper. So that I'm definitely going to keep hold of. It was also a gift, so I'm going to keep hold of that. It's a bit too chunky to knit with at the moment. I can't really face doing any chunky knits right now. The sun is still shining here in London, so I don't want to do anything too chunky, but it is lovely yarn, so I'm going to keep hold of it. This is a little scrap of neon, again, We Are Knitters, left over from when I made my first jumper from those guys. I made the signage sweater, the one with the kind of zigzag across the front of it, and that neon was part of that one. So was this lovely brown. I was initially thinking I want to make something for my mum, and her tones are all kind of browns and rust colours, so I was thinking to make something out of this, but actually now that I'm a bit further along in my knitting journey, I think she prefers something less chunky. So I've still got this and I will do something with it, but maybe it'll become a scarf or a gift or something for somebody, because it knits up obviously super fast. It is really nice, it is 100% wool, it's really soft, so maybe that's a gift for somebody rather than a whole jumper for mum, who I don't think would wear something that chunky. So I've got a couple more in there. I should really weigh these. I think they're 100 grams each, and I've got, what, 4? So 400 grams. I could make something pretty hefty from that, I think, but maybe not a whole jumper. So tuck those in there. This is, see, chaos already. Hopefully I can make this slightly less chaotic as we go along. Keep hold of these organza bags. Wool Warehouse send all your yarn in these, and they're brilliant. I use them for works in progress that we'll get onto in a second. Also in my initial stash, some Drops Andes, again really chunky. It's lovely. I'm not super sold on this green. It's a bit going towards turquoise for me, which I don't love, so I think that's probably why I haven't used it. It's really soft. I actually find it softer than the We Are Knitters and a lot less expensive, so again could be a lovely gift for somebody. I've got, what have I got of this one? I've got 2 green, which is 75% wool, 35% alpaca, so it's really nice. 2 of the green ones, maybe. I wonder if I could make a shrug. I have a very petite friend who wears a lot of that kind of colour. I wonder if I could make her a little shrug or something. I've got a grey as well. That's very nice. Oh, more green. There we go. So I knew I had a lot of this. Another one and another one. See, this is the trouble. When you can't see it, you forget what you have. stick both those guys in there. Then I've got, oh, even more green, just some scrap. Oh, that's mysterious. Is that scraps? Oh no, it's all joined up. Okay, stick that in there. I wasn't sure if that was like a leftover pom-pom or something, but it is actually all one piece. So I'll pop that in there. I think those guys all need to live together because they're all my chunky stuff, ready for the winter, ready for some gift knitting maybe. Then this one is a leftover from a Stitch and Story jumper kit that I found in a charity shop. Again, really nice chunky wool, lovely chunky grey wool. It lives with the rest of this, which I'm thinking I should probably get around to frogging. Some bamboo needles, which I don't use anymore because I tend to use circulars. Now, I knitted some of this and my mum knitted some of this, and it's a massive chunky grey sweater thing. I'm pretty certain that it won't fit me. Having knitted it up, I think it's going to be too cropped and too chunky for me. But again, I'm wondering, do I finish it and gift it? Do I rip it out and have the yarn back? You can see that it's really close to being finished. It basically just needs, God, does it just need weaving in? It might literally just need weaving in, and then it might be a finished object. And maybe there's somebody that I can gift it to, because the yarn is lovely. It's just a bit too chunky and a bit small. What shall I do with it? What do you think? Any ideas, anybody? Gift it, rip it back, something else. It's too nice to just leave in this bag, isn't it? Okay, so what shall I do with that? I think he goes back into one of these organza bags, and I pop him somewhere with other works in progress. Maybe one of these bags needs to become a works in progress bag, or a works in progress that are on timeout for being naughty bags. Stick those back in there and pop that one away, I guess. Yeah, pop that one away for now. So now we are on to some really scrappy bits and bobs, some of which maybe does just need to get destashed. That's some yarn that I got and made a little hat for the same niece. The trouble is, I really didn't enjoy knitting with this. It's hand-dyed wool, so the colour's lovely, and it's like unicorn zebra or something. But I found the wool really difficult to knit with, didn't enjoy it, so I do wonder if this is maybe going for a donation. Should I have a donation pile? That seems like that might be a good idea, things that I know that I'm not going to knit with anymore. So that maybe goes in a donation pile. Let's start that here. Then what else have I got? I've got scraps, which I think I should keep. So that's a little bit of leftover from the Sunday tea that I made. It's the bamboo cotton that I'm definitely going to keep. Maybe I need a little bag for scraps. I'll be right back. Now we are on to some really scrappy bits and bobs, some of which maybe does just need to get destashed. That's some yarn that I got and made a little hat for the same niece. The trouble is, I really didn't enjoy knitting with this. It's hand-dyed wool, so the colour's lovely, and it's like unicorn zebra or something. But I found the wool really difficult to knit with, didn't enjoy it, so I do wonder if this is maybe going for a donation. Should I have a donation pile? That seems like that might be a good idea, things that I know that I'm not going to knit with anymore. So that maybe goes in a donation pile. Let's start that here. Then what else have I got? I've got scraps, which I think I should keep. So that's a little bit of leftover from the Sunday tea that I made. It's the bamboo cotton that I'm definitely going to keep. Maybe I need a little bag for scraps. I'll be right back. Okay, so scraps that I need to keep hold of, they're going to live in this bag. That was, as I said, scrap bamboo cotton from Starcraft, from a t-shirt that I made. This is the leftovers from a hat that I made for my mum. I think that's what that was. Feels very nice. Oh, maybe it's from the socks that I made for her. I think it's from the socks that I made from her. There's a fairly decent quantity in there, so I think that maybe goes in scraps as well. Alongside that's his friend, so I made a pair of socks in these colours for mum. First ever socks. Turned the heel on one of them 4 times, but eventually got there. So these guys are some lovely wool sock yarn from Coop Knits, so I'll definitely keep hold of that, pop that in my little scraps bag. That is some leftover from making a fisherman's rib snood for a friend. I think that's probably for donation. I'm not going to use it, she's not going to use it. I think that goes for donation. This was one of my first projects. I made a scarf and a hat for gifts. It's very inexpensive, mostly acrylic, Women's Institute yarn. I know I'm not going to knit with it again, so that goes for scraps. Ooh, some leftovers from We Are Knitters. I think I will keep that because that'll be helpful for darning, but I will pop that in the scraps bag. Some white that I used to make the same fisherman's snood. Again, pretty inexpensive acrylic. I will pop that in the scraps. Some yellow, again, We Are Knitters, Women's Institute acrylic. Quite a decent amount of it. Will I use it? Am I going to make anybody anything in acrylic? No. I'm going to donate that one. This one's the same. This is the merino acrylic. I might keep that because that's a whole ball. That's what I use for the fisherman's snood. I think I will keep that because that can make a really nice, simple accessory for somebody as a gift. Women's Institute soft and chunky. I think I'll donate that one. Same with this guy. This was a scrap from, or maybe I'll keep that. I have a skirt that I made which is in this grey with flex. I think it was a relatively inexpensive acrylic. I made it as like a little mini skirt for my work Christmas party, so I'll keep that in there in case that needs to be darned. Donate this one. Donate this one. And oh, this was a gift from a friend. She was de-stashing and it's some really nice pink. I think that it will be, might be a wool acrylic blend. I will keep that, I think, because that might be a nice mix in with something in future, so I'll keep that, pop that in there. Literal bits of fluff. These guys can go in the bin. I won't even put them in there. Mini cotton We Are Knitters. I will keep that. That will probably live in a different bag. I don't think I'll pop it in with the really chunky stuff. And a small Stitch and Story pure wool, which I think was a pom-pom making wool, so I'll keep that as well. And that is one box down, so this can be used for something more useful. This is the donate bag. And onwards, let's keep, just stab myself with something. I think that was a pine needle from my Christmas tree. Right, keep going. Okay, next we have empty project bag, that's fine. Oh, I don't want to open up my timeout whip. This is a whip that is in timeout because I made a number of mistakes when making it and it doesn't fit. I love it, but it doesn't fit. And I don't really know what to do about it. I should probably just finish it off, but I'm not in love with it, so should I rip it back? Who knows? So it is the Daphne top. I can't remember the name of the designer, but I'll try and put it in the notes. It's the Daphne top, which I had gone a long way with. You can see I've done the I-cord, I've started on the sleeves, and I've just made quite a few mistakes through it, and it's putting me off finishing it. I made it too big, basically. I didn't swatch, which is very naughty. Didn't swatch, but I should maybe just try and finish it and see if I would wear it even as something oversized. I started on the sleeves, I'm not in love with those, so yeah, it's got issues. This has got issues, but I will put it back into its project bag and find somewhere for this to live, because there's some lovely yarn that comes with it. This is some Sublime merino silk, baby cashmere merino silk DK. It's really nice. I got it in a sale in a yarn store near where my friends live, so I won't be back there, but I've got enough to finish it, and I should probably try and finish it and then decide what to do with it at that point. Even if I rip it back, I'd rather rip it back from totally finished, so that at least I've got the chance to see. So that's one of the whips that needs sorting. Then we have got, what should we do next? We'll do chunky again. So, sorry, a bit of noisy ASMR for you there. I was recently on holiday in Rotterdam. I found this really cute shop called, I'm probably going to butcher this, Sostren Green, S-O-S-T-R-E-N-E G-R-E-N-E, green, Sostren Green, and it had this amazing yarn. It was like a mixed shop of kind of household goods and crafty things and all sorts of stuff. So I wasn't expecting to find yarn, but then I did, and it's lovely and it wasn't very expensive. So this is a 70% wool, 30% bamboo. I hope the camera will pick it up, but it's got a really lovely sheen to it. It's to be knit on, what does it say? It says 3mm, that seems small. I reckon it's a 4mm, something like that. Very soft, very sheeny, and I got this gorgeous bright pink, kind of coral pink, and a softer pink, so I was thinking I could do a contrast. I got quite a few of them. I think that will be a really nice early autumn project for me. I'm thinking a really lovely cardigan or something. I reckon I would wear that to death once it's done. So I got hopefully enough. Didn't have a pattern, just bought on a whim. Hopefully I got enough for it, and I think it needs to live with the chunky yarn so that I can find it when I come to start thinking about chunky yarn projects again, or chunkier yarn. It's not really chunky. So I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the very bright pink and 2 of the pale pink. So I'll pop them in with the chunky guys. I also got these really cute brass stitch markers. Again, not very expensive. I think that they were the princely sum of €1.66. These really cute little brass stitch markers. So I was super pleased with all of that. And the yarn itself was €4.20 a ball. So I think that seems like really reasonable for wool and bamboo. So I'm quite tempted to look them up as well and see if they've got any other colours, because yeah, I'm obsessed with the kind of sheen that it has to it, and the fact that it's all natural fibres was amazing. I was really surprised. I thought it was going to be acrylic. So I think those shall live in with the chunky yarn. And I think, is that the chunky yarn? Is that all of my chunky stuff? Really? I think that might be time to close that guy up. What do we think? I think that seems pretty full to me. So that's what the first big bag is looking like. I decided to put the really chunky grey sweater in with the rest of the really chunky yarn. I know it's a work in progress, but I think it will be more sensible to have it in there. My lovely new acquisition sitting on the top. I'm going to zip this guy up and then move on to some of the next whoopsie stash that's sitting down there. We'll get into that now. Okay, so now I've got a bit of a dilemma. I have this whole box of very, very beautiful Adria fill, which is a 50% wool, 50% alpaca blend. It's an eco yarn. I guess that means it's been produced in a nice way. Italian eco yarn. Got it in a local yarn store in the Midlands somewhere, and it's specifically for making my mum a Christmas present. Now it has this beautiful box that it came in, but I think keeping it in the box is not super practical, because then I never see it and it never makes me think of it. I'm pretty sure I have ADHD, so I think seeing things helps me to remember that those things exist. So I think maybe I have to sacrifice the lovely box and put these in the plastic with everyone else, so that I remember they're there, so that I don't then buy more yarn to make my mum a jumper when I in fact have really nice yarn to make my mum a jumper. So I think that these guys maybe have to live in here. They might end up living in the chunky yarn box, but for now we're going to start them in their own lovely, oh look how beautiful they are in there. So we'll stick those guys in there. Then I think we open up this beast. So this has been where some of the stash has been living so far. As I said, part of the problem's been some of the stash has been in here, some of the stash has been in other places. It's probably not super practical to have it all spread all over the shop. So in here we have got, what have we got? We have got this beauty, which was hand-dyed yarn from the Yarn Whisperer that I picked up at Unravelled, which is a yarn show in Farnham in southwest England. It's called Koi Pond. It's, I think it says Corriedale 80/20, 100 grams. Don't know what to do with it. It's so beautiful that I haven't knit anything yet with it, but I should. You can tell I like the coral colour. I've got it all over the shop. Need to do something lovely with this, but I haven't, because I couldn't think of a single skein project that would be nice enough. So that's that guy. I'm wondering if I should keep cotton and stuff separate from the other things. Who knows? Let's come back to it. Then I've got a few oddballs of Yorkshire Spinners both pure Falklands Islands wool. Not enough is the problem with this, not enough of it to do much with it. A couple of balls that can live in there as well. One more of the Sublime Cashmere Merino for that Daphne top, but in a different blue. So I've got quite a few blues going on, probably don't need any more blues. Then I have 3 weird ones which I bought at the beginning of my knitting story when I was just very excited about yarn. Still am very excited about yarn, but slightly more practical now. This is eucalyptus fibre. I got 3 of these. I don't really like the colour. Do I donate it? Am I ever going to knit anything with it? I wonder if this is to be donated. We shall come back to that. Maybe that gets donated, or maybe I make it into a gift for somebody. It's hard to let go of because it's very unusual, but there's probably not enough of it. Then we have what nearly started to become a work in progress. This is lovely. Again, haven't got started on this because I've got distracted. This is We Are Knitters, 50% cotton, 50% merino wool. I bought it specifically to make a kind of collared jumper. I have now got hopefully a pattern for it, so this needs to be somewhere I can definitely find it and remember that it exists. I did start something with it, but I've taken it back because I just wasn't in love with the pattern, so I need to find a better pattern, but I think I have one now. So that can live in here as well. Some inexpensive drops cotton. Didn't love it, but it did make a nice t-shirt. It's fine. It can probably make another t-shirt at some point. That can go in here to live as well. Then we have this, which is so beautiful. This is Cumulus by Fibre Spates. It's 74% baby Surrey alpaca and 26% mulberry silk. It's basically, I think, a dupe for mohair. I can't stand mohair. I've tried a few, too itchy for me, but I really like the look of it, and there's a few patterns that I'd really like to make. There's the, oh gosh, what's the name of the jumper? I can't think of it now, but there's a couple of really lovely jumpers that have like a single strain section and then a double strand section as well, and I'm hoping I've got enough of this to make something out of that. It's too hot right now to be making things out of alpaca, so this probably needs to live in stash for now, but I will come back to it in September, and this is helping to remind me of all the things that I already want to knit, and to stop finding new projects and to stop buying more yarn, so those guys can live in there as well. I'm just wondering, do I use this little container for my summer yarn? Maybe that would be more sensible. What do you think? Maybe that's where all the cotton and stuff lives. I've decided I think some of the summer yarn is going to live in a different box. The reason being I'm going to run out of space. So I think the summer yarn can live back in here. So I'm going to put the cotton merino blends in this one. So these guys can pop back in there. And the leftover drops cotton can live in here as well. Those couple of eucalyptus ones, if I keep them, they can go back in there too. And we'll keep this mostly for wool and kind of more winter fabrics. Okay, 2 reasons for that. One is that I may have acquired a little bit more. So, found a gorgeous yarn shop, Ida's House, in Caterham in South London, and picked up a couple of different things. I was looking for something to make a couple of summer tops. I still want to make a couple of summer tops. Got a couple of needles, want to make a couple more. This one is some really lovely Rico Creative Cotton Flecky Fleece. I don't generally go for anything with artificial fibres in it, but this is pretty good. It's 75% cotton, 12% wool and 13% acrylic. I guess maybe the colour's acrylic. Feels really nice. I think it would make a nice kind of basic for me. I'm not neutrals really, but this is quite neutral, so I was thinking a little vest or even like a kind of crop t-shirt thing, and that might be really nice. That can live with the summer knits. Then this is so nice. This is the Onion, which I think is a Danish brand. Yeah, Denmark, made in Italy, but Danish brand. This is number 4 organic wool and nettles. So 70% wool, 30% nettle. Really lovely. I was looking for mustard, but I think I'm going to go with this kind of rusty orange colour. Really lovely, 4mm needles. I'm hopefully going to make the twist tee in that one. Again, I'll put the link in the description. 50 grams, 130 metres. I think it'd make a really nice kind of in-between season top. Very, very soft, lovely kind of sheen to it. And I think for me this will be a neutral in that it's not bright pink. And I got, how many of those did I get? I think I got 5. So I'm hoping for a t-shirt that should be enough. So pop those guys in together, don't they? Look nice. The blue is not really doing it for me, but the beige and the orange are looking pretty good together. Then we come to part of the problem. So we've got some slightly unravelled balls. I went to visit some friends who live in Bakewell, and they have a local yarn store that I must look up the name of, and they were having a massive sale, so I bought loads. So this is some Adrifil Bukanev, something like that, and it is 100% wool, feels like it must be merino, really, really soft, really nice colour. Not my go-to colour, but I realised I should probably be sensible and make some more kind of neutrally things. I got 2, 4, 6, 7 balls of this. It is delicious, it feels absolutely gorgeous, and it was £22, so I just obviously couldn't leave it in the shop. It has been sitting in this big bag of shame because I bought quite a lot, and I was keeping it slightly hidden. My partner doesn't think I need more yarn, he's obviously wrong, but you know, that's what he thought. So yeah, 7 balls, 50 grams, 750, so it should be enough to get maybe a short sleeve sweater. I was thinking maybe a short sleeve, or I could combine it because I also bought the same yarn, the Bukanev in white. How many of these did I get? I really like white as well. I'm quite clumsy, so white's not the most practical colour for me, but I think it really suits me. So I think this could be really lovely. 2, 4, 6, 8, 9 of those. Again, massively reduced. Gorgeous merino. Couldn't leave it in the shop, of course. Spent all my holiday money, obviously, on yarn. Again, it's just been sitting in this bag. I haven't really been thinking about it. Yeah, pure extra fine merino. It feels absolutely beautiful. I think it'll be a total joy to knit with. And that was £28 for all 9 of those. So I think that was another total bargain. And then I also got it in grey because again, it was in the sale. And I think grey cardigan, really nice grey kind of school type cardigan. So nice with this. I think this will be a dream to knit with. And I think something with texture like moss stitch or something would be super nice with this. I'm currently making the City Lights cardigan as a gift from my boyfriend's grandma, and I'm really enjoying it, so it's possible I might try and make myself one using all of this, which I've just unravelled. Hopefully it'll stay together more or less when I tuck it in here. So loads of the grey. I definitely don't need to buy any more neutral merino. That is becoming clear to me. So that's in there, and then I've got a few scraps. So I've got, that's just a scrap in there. I think these were gifts from a friend. I will pop these all in with my scraps. Don't really know what they are. That feels like maybe a bamboo. That's definitely merino. Sweet little bit of merino. And that feels like a bamboo cotton maybe. So I'll pop all of those into my scraps. So that's how the second bag is looking. Got most of the stuff in there. Also put in my whip that's been in timeout so that it's in a clear bag, and hopefully that might shame me into doing something about it. Then there's just the last couple of bits and pieces to show you, and I think that's everything. So the last few things to show you, I don't think it counts as stash because they are projects that are actually on the needles. So I'm making a dent in stash. So I've got a few more balls of this guy, which is a cotton silk DK from Sublime. It was another one I got when there was a sale up with my friends. I'm turning this into a really lovely top with some little bows that I cast on last night. I've already got about 6-7 centimetres on the needles for that, so that is a work in progress. I think I'm forgiven for that little bit of stash. This is some Drops Air, which I am loving actually. I didn't think I would, but the texture is gorgeous. It's a blown yarn with baby alpaca and merino wool. This is what I'm turning into the City Lights cardigan for my partner's grandma. I'm hoping that it will be really warm but also not too heavy. I know sometimes older people can sometimes find like really thick garments kind of uncomfortable to wear because they're too heavy, so I'm hoping this will be really nice for her. It feels lovely. These guys will hopefully all get used up. If not, maybe a scarf or something with one of them if I have any leftovers. I am making my way through this as well. This is Drops Bomulin. I'm making myself a very simple citrus, I think it's called the Citrus Sun Vest from Drops. It's a simple construction vest. I'm adding some blue and white together, give it a bit of a nautical vibe. Really simple. I'm assuming it's going to use up most of that, so I don't think that counts as naughty stash either. And then the last little bit, which is means quite a lot to me, is some stash from my grandma. So grandma was a big knitter. Obviously lately, before she passed away, her hands weren't so good. So just a couple of things in here. They are not wool I would have chosen necessarily, but I don't really want to throw it away. So this is some Sunbird 4-ply sock wool from Peter Gregory. I love the labels actually, the label's really sweet. I think it's wool, nylon, 80% wool, 20% nylon. So that's really nice. So that I will keep. Maybe I can get a scarf or something out of that if I mix it with something else, so that can tuck in there. And then the last one is a work in progress, not my work in progress, but actually grandma's work in progress. I think that this is probably a nylon, or yeah, doesn't feel like wool, but I think she was making a little baby cardigan, baby jacket. So I will keep this and I will hopefully find a way to finish it for her. I think that would be a really nice thing to do. She's an absolutely beautiful knitter. Her knitting is gorgeous. It's much nicer than mine. She's got an amazing even tension, so I hope I don't ruin it by trying to finish it for her, but I think she would have liked that. So that's probably the last little bit of my stash. I'll do a bit of tidying up and then show you guys the hopefully quite satisfying end result of the tidy. So here it is, my thinner yarn in here. Some of the stuff I'm really excited to knit with that I need to find patterns for. My chunkier stuff in here, along with the whips that are on timeout. And then my summer weight yarn in this one. I feel like that's not a bad way of organising. It does look like a lot of yarn now that I see it all together, so maybe I need to slow down on the acquisitions for a little while. What do you think? So that was my attempt at trying to organise my yarn stash. It's filling out the shelf a little bit, so it might still need a bit of reorganising, but I hope that that was enjoyable to watch. I really need some advice on some patterns to use some of this up, so if you've got any recommendations, do put them in the comments. I'd love to see them. I'd love to know how you guys keep track of your yarn. What do you store it in? I thought that these guys would be quite helpful. I wonder if these big plastic sacks might be a bit on the big side, so maybe I'll try and get some smaller ones at some point, but they're a start. And yeah, I'd love to keep chatting with you over on Instagram. I'm the Millennial Knitter with a dot in the middle. It'll be down in the notes. I'm trying to get back into some regular posting. I know I've been away from a little while, had some family stuff going on, but I'd like to be back here and enjoying my knitting with you guys. I really enjoy these kinds of videos, so hopefully you've enjoyed mine. If you have, please give me a like, please subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye guys.